Euros. Both goals coming in from Raheem Sterling. They have a brilliant squad from the goalkeeper Jordan Pickford. You can look at the defense where they have the likes of John Stones in the scene and a couple of other great players. But will England live up to the expectations? Will they get that victory today? Will they scale through to the quarterfinals just like we had Switzerland beat France yesterday? A rundown of the lineup for England: a 3-4-3 formation. Jordan Pickford is in goal. We have Kyle Walker, Harry Maguire and John Stones in defense. For the four midfielders, there's Kieran Trippier, Calvin Phillips and also Declan Rice playing at central midfield. From the left wing back is Luke Shaw. Then Bukayo Saka, who had a brilliant outing last time for England, starts alongside Harry Kane and Raheem Sterling up front. While for Germany, in goal is Manuel Neuer. From defense, a three-man defense, a 3-4-2-1 formation. In defense, they have Matthias Ginter, there's Mats Hummels and also Antonio Rudiger. From left wing back, there's Robin Gosens. Right wing back is Joshua Kimmich. For the two central midfielders, Leon Goretzka and Toni Kroos. The two attacking midfielders, Thomas Muller and Kai Havertz. Up front is Timo Werner. A big game we do expect, but we have to play this bill. When we're back, we'll get your thoughts on the show on what you're expecting from this big game between England and Germany. Stay tuned to 92.3 Nigeria Info.
The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich and and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide.
Race takes place place at the Wembley Stadium, just as it did 25 years ago when Gareth Southgate's saved sport kick helped Germany squeeze past England on penalties at Euro 96. An equally tight affair may again be likely, given that England's group games produced just 2 goals, a stalemate with Scotland, sandwiched between 1-0 wins against Croatia and the Czech Republic. Germany have been less predictable, with a 1-0 defeat against France and a 2-2 draw with Hungary, which will not be viewed with fondness, but in between they produced a scintillating display to down Portugal 4 goals to 2, and history suggests they bring their A-game win faced off with the Three Lions. Well, England's history in knockout matches against Germany with no win since 1966 is well documented, and so too is Gareth Southgate's own personal history with that Euro 96 semi-final penalty heartache. Yet, sit down with any of the young players in Gareth Southgate's squad and it's fast becomes apparent that history means little to them, raising the hopes that they can go all out and play without fear. And their recent Wembley record, which stands at 13 wins from the last 15, will be yet another reason for the English to believe. On the other hand, Germany's Joachim Löw says it's all or nothing from here on in, and Germany know what they are when they manage to get a few things right on the pitch. Well, who will get it right through the 90 minutes and possibly extra time and penalties, as we have been treated to recently in this competition? Only time, chance, and the gladiators on the pitch will determine. Three formation. It is John Stones, Harry Maguire and Kyle Walker, the three at the back. The goalkeepers, of course, Jordan Pickford. The 4 in midfield with 2 acting as wing backs, Luke Shaw, Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips and Kieran Trippier. Up front you have Raheem Sterling, Harry Kane and Bukayo Saka. And for Germany it is a replica. It's a 3-4-3 formation. I'll make it a 3-4-2-1 formation. That's the shape they will look to start with. Manuel Neuer is the goalkeeper. Ginter stares with Matt Hummels and Antonio Rudiger as the 3 at the back. In midfield with 2 as well, acting as wing backs, Joshua Kimmich, Leon Goretzka, Toni Kroos and Robin Gosens. Thomas Muller starts alongside Kai Havertz in the pockets, assisting Timo Werner, who gets the nod to start for the very first time for the German national team. Well, good evening and welcome officially to 92.3 Nigeria Info's commentary coverage as hostilities are rekindled, England versus Germany. I am Onah Kosi alongside Ngozi Eze-Uduma, more popularly referred to as NG Khalela.
Hi Kosi, good evening everyone. Do I like this afternoon, but hello everyone. Welcome to today's footballing excitement. I think what most football fans will be wishing that to give us even a tad, maybe just even 50% of the kind of excitement we had yesterday, and we'll be very happy.
Right, and NG, this is a gigantic fixture on our hands, worthy even of a final. And it comes early in the round of 16. Southgate with a chance for some sort of redemption. And Joachim Löw will be hoping to engineer a grand farewell, which at least should start with a victory over England at Wembley today.
So many things, there's so many narratives in this game. Gareth Southgate ignominiously lost that penalty kick, and then that was in 1996. I remember watching that game, and I remember the English press after that, it was hell for him. Somehow or the other, he's ended up being a coach right now, and has a chance, maybe to redeem himself from it. You have to always pray that you get a chance to a second chance to redeem a bad image. So he'll be hoping to do something there. But Joachim Löw, I think it's probably a case of stayed so long, he's overstayed his welcome. I mean, for someone who's won a World Cup with the German team, always in recent times they come across a second fiddle. They're not mainly the. I mean, if you're going to give percentage 60-40, you'll be thinking that the 40% will be the German team now. So that's just part of the narrative. The other bigger pictures, it's Germany, England, it's the world war narrative, and so many things that cover it. So that's how big this game is.
Yeah, certainly big. A couple of things to look out for. Well, Harry Maguire is fit enough, just in time for the English, and keeps his place in the starting 11. And Bukayo Saka is chosen in place of Phil Foden. And interestingly, perhaps even in due respect to Robin Gosens, who has been fantastic for Germany down the left-hand side of the attack, Kieran Trippier starts alongside Kyle Walker. And normally either of these two would play, but we will see how this all pans out. Leon Goretzka is preferred in the German side, of course, in midfield alongside Toni Kroos, Kimmich and Gosens. Kai Havertz will have a chance to partner with his clubmate Timo Werner, all with the intention of hurting the English. The good old Wembley Stadium is a joy to behold this evening, looking bright and lush. Good enough for a game of football. 16 degrees, that's what it is in terms of temperature. Humidity is at 69%. It is cloudy, but visuals quite clear, and we're looking forward to a good game. Let's stand by now for the national anthem of the two teams. And it all begins with that of the Germans.
Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles, in der Welt. Denn es steht zu Schluss und Toten, brüderlich zusammenhält. Von der Mars bis an die Meeren, von der Erde bis an den Held. Deutschland, über alles in der Welt.
Well, the German fans made their way to Wembley in their number. They've joined the 11 starting for their country to blurt out in joy the German national anthem, and it's now time for the English to do theirs. That's the English national anthem as we get ready now to head straight into commentary mode. Onah Kosi and Kosi Khalela to take you through. The Netherlands, assisted by Hassel Stretke of the Netherlands as well, and the second assistant is Jan de Vresch of the Netherlands. Video assistant referee Van Boekel, who is a Dutchman as well. The fourth official is Serjan Jananovic of Serbia. NG, well, we're set for yet another chapter in this historical rivalry between the English and the Germans.
I think what reaches out to me here is the fact that England have played all their games, including this fourth game in Wembley, and that's a bit lucky considering the fact that no other countries have that kind of luck. You could be kind of fans, and they've got to win the prince and the princess right there in the stadium just to give all of that support. So maybe not intimidating for the Germans, but certainly that level of home support in the competition they're supposed to be going around is quite big. But right now, what matters is everyone facing the job on the pitch.
There'll be a pre-kick-off, yes, traditions over and done with, as the players are about to get us started. It will be Germany passing us off and taking the knee, both countries in unison, sending the message that there is indeed no place for racism in football. Germany are clad in all black, kicking us off as they are kicking the ball from left to the right. England in all white, the Three Lions defending on the right and attacking towards the left.
A lot has been made of the fact that Harry Kane has not got any goals in this game. Maybe he'll be hoping to light it up right now. Where England, of course, will have to try and get the balls to him. A bit of change. People have asked question. No Phil Foden here still sticks with Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice, and that begs the question. People have been asking where will the creativity come from. But there's, of course, Bukayo Saka.
Certainly, the Arsenal man, and in the trust of Gareth Southgate. Wonderful performance against the Czech Republic, rewarded with a starting berth against Germany, no less. This ball goes into Joshua Kimmich in the German half of the pitch. On the right-hand side of it, Germans looking to get us on the way. First free kick of the encounter, going the way of the English, is Manchester United captain, brought down by number 25 for Germany, Thomas Müller.
Müller with just a slight pressure on Maguire, and that takes him out of the trajectory to get the head off it. Müller thinks it's a bit too soft, and the Germans starting the possession. They retain possession quite a bit, but the game is just early, about barely 2 minutes old, so that's not enough to count. And the English have a free kick, maybe not in a choice position, but certainly they've got good headers of both, and they'll be looking to turn it in.
Well, certainly there's no such thing as scoring too early. It is Luke Shaw and Kieran Trippier. Look, it's going to be off the boots of Manchester Pickford. Pickford launches the ball forward in search of Harry Kane, who is chasing. It is Manuel Neuer who would pick up quite easily, despite the efforts of the English captain.
A big punt, a very big punt by the goalkeeper. Very big punt, maybe classic kind of English for those who knew the English or liked to call English kick and rush football. That's a very heavy point. But it's the Germans actually who are retaining possession and asking lots of questions. They actually look better than they've looked in most of their games, except maybe the Portugal game. Talking about the Germans, they look like they're seeking more answers in this game as opposed to, for example, how they looked in the game against Hungary.
Yeah, bright start for Germany down the right hand side of the attack. It is Joshua Kimmich sending a dip crossing to the box. It was Kyle Walker who would rather head out for a corner kick as opposed to leaving it to chance, as Leon Goretzka was arriving just behind him. As earlier the English had a free kick, and now the Germans have a corner kick taken quickly by Toni Kroos. Germany in control. Back to corner kick taker Toni Kroos. Oh, brilliant ball into Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz into the box. It's cleared away by Kyle Walker of England.
The game is going to go through Toni Kroos a lot today. You know that Toni Kroos is the temperature for most of the team we play for, whether the German team or the Real Madrid team. He's the pulse of the team, and so a lot of things are going to pass through him. But Kai Havertz will get chances. We saw how dangerous he's been. He caused 2 own goals and 6 scored a goal against Portugal, so we're going to look for it. But let's see the way of Timo Werner. This might actually be the time for him to shine also.
Now Germany in all black, enjoying passes between themselves. Toni Kroos into Kai Havertz. Now Timo Werner has it. Timo Werner in the box. It's defended by Declan Rice. Yet another chance for the Germans. It's a team effort of the boots of Leon Goretzka. Not strong enough to trouble Jordan Pickford.
Jordan Pickford is not impressed with his defense. He thinks they shouldn't even have allowed that balls to even have got anywhere near him. I think there could be a shout, maybe not a shout for penalty. There was a toss of a hand, but the referee probably thinks that his hands were not in a natural position, so it shouldn't be a penalty, and the game continues.
Now game continues with England kicking out from the back. Luke Shaw sends it to his club captain Harry Maguire, who just sends it straight away to defence partner John Stones. Stones will spread it to Walker. Walker looking to find Harry Kane, unable to do that. Is Germany looking to break away. Kai Havertz slows things down a little bit. Now it's a lazy pass by Kai Havertz, looking to pick out Robin Gosens.
A misplaced pass. He misjudged Gosens. I thought Gosens would have continued the run, and so he would have made that ball, but that's a lazy one and a misplaced one.
England possession to the good. Pickford sends the ball away towards the halfway line. It was Antonio Rudiger up against Harry Kane, with Rudiger winning it. And now Gosens rescues the ball for Germany as it was just about to go away for an English throw. Ginter. Back to Manuel Neuer. Neuer spreads it to Antonio Rudiger. Rudiger searching for options. Unable to pick out a shirt in black. As ball heads into Kyle Walker, who just turns it back to Declan Rice. It's been a little bit cagey in the first 5 minutes.
As expected, it's a game of this magnitude. We're not going to see a lot of giveaways, at least not the kind of things we saw yesterday. I'm talking about the goalkeeper of Spain, so we're not going to see lots of that kind of giveaway. And Germans will be hoping to improve from the kind of games they've played, so you can see that in their style. But once again, Germans winning possession, and as I said, Toni Kroos is going to be key to whatever the German team is going to do, and you can see he's already called into action so many times already, and the young Kai Havertz.
Toni Kroos making his presence felt to the heart of the midfield for Germany. A veteran as it were. His 106th cap this is. Scored 17 times. But it hurt to make it 18 to send Germany through to face either Sweden or the Ukraine. As Gareth Southgate is looking on. A lot of talk about this being a chance for him to redeem himself. What's your assessment of such a narrative?
I think you really hope to have a chance to correct a wrong, and that's the Southgate doing that. But the sad news for him is that it's not so much in his hands as opposed to in the hands of some younger guns.
Certainly missed the sport kick in Euro 96, hosted by England in the semi-finals versus Germany. Now he has said over time that he's put it behind him, but surely if he wins here he would have had the chance to put it behind him, as Muller is searching forward for the Germans. He was in between
that's Leon Goretzka.
Leon Goretzka.
Yeah, that's Leon Goretzka, and I don't know who the crowd is coming to. I think it's coming to that Declan Rice. It was a human sandwich for Goretzka. He had the two players running, trying to make sure they stop him from getting the ball, and they did get him, but he didn't legally. He had Rice trying to stop him. He had Walker also trying to stop him. He did get a touch out of him. Yes, he did hit him on the back of his leg, and maybe that just could be a penalty. That could just be a penalty, but if they're lucky, it looks like it's outside the box and not inside the box. So that's a free kick for Germany. Well, he had to take. He had to do that. If you had let him go inside the box, that would have been a goal. That probably would have been a goal. So he had to tackle him. Did he get it right? No. Got a yellow for his offences, but at least it stopped Germany from being in front of a Pickford.
Well, Leon Goretzka showing exactly why he was picked ahead of Ilkay Gundogan by coach Joachim Löw. Breaking through the English defence, but brought down eventually by Declan Rice, just at the edge of the English box. Something certainly that Toni Kroos will be looking at and licking his lips at the prospect of bending it around over the wall into the nets of Jordan Pickford.
The only team that haven't considered a goal in this competition right now is England. They've scored only 2, but they're yet to concede. Would just be the time to concede. Italy, of course, have gone into this championship having conceding goals, but they did concede in the game against Austria. And so let's see if Germany will also break that record today in this England team that haven't considered in this competition as of yet.
And a 1-0 victory over Croatia on the opening day, followed by a 0-0 draw against Scotland, and then another 1-0 victory over the Czech Republic. Means England to have 3 clean sheets from their 3 group games up until this round of 16 encounters. Germany will take Havertz, and it's the Germans trying to be clever with the free kick for all their improvisation. Still didn't beat the wall.
As it stands, there are 3 people around the ball and they're waiting for Kai Havertz to get that touch. He did get the touch on it, but there was not purchasing that curler, and the defense of England did the job.
Throw in for Germany to be taken by Joshua Kimmich. Sends it all the way back to Matt Hummels. Now Toni Kroos can take charge back from whence it came, this time to Ginter. Ginter in field to number 7 Kai Havertz, searching for options, goes all the way back to Matt Hummels. Hummels into Toni Kroos. Now Leon Goretzka can drive the Germans forward. That he does indeed. Looking to pick out Joshua Kimmich. Couldn't find a connection thanks to the attentions of Luke Shaw for England.
This first 10 minutes has been all Germany. Germany's gotten the better chances. They've picked the balls are better. The 50-50 balls have also been nicked by the Germans. But they hope to get a reward with a goal. And even then, at least in this, as this championship has gone, especially in this round of 16, just getting that goal is not enough it's not enough to give you the championship or even give you the win. So there's so much to be done as it stands.
So much to be done as it stands by both teams. It is old rivals England and Germany who have enjoyed multiple memorable encounters, who are squaring up yet again today at Wembley Stadium. This is England's 4th game of the tournament at Wembley, where they remain unbeaten with 3 clean sheets. It's second first place in Group B. Germany, meanwhile, recovered from losing the first game in the Group F against France to beat Portugal 4-2 and draw against Hungary 2-2 to make it to this stage.
They came from that group of death, and out of that group of death, 2 are gone. Just Germany remaining in that group of death had Portugal. Portugal, of course, have left. France left yesterday. Germany is the last team that came from that group of death. So you could argue that they played 3 different games. They came to not unscathed with some blood and gore, but they are here. But for England, they need to put in a bit more, and that's why a lot of people are talking about the fact that there doesn't seem to be any creativity in the midfield. Declan Rice and Phillips don't seem to be offering too many balls, putting any form of pressure and allowing Bukayo Saka or anyone to pick anything out of it.
There is truly very little to choose between the teams over the previous 32 meetings, with 13 wins each. Although England have a slight edge in terms of goals scored, 51 to Germany's 42. That's the most recent meeting of these sides in competitive games. Happened all the way back in 2010 at Bloemfontein in South Africa. Khalela, that goal that wasn't to be from Frank Lampard, as the Germans ran away 4-1 winners in that round of 16 encounter, if memory serves me correct.
Heartbreaking stuff. I think it was 3-1. It was 2-1 at that time, and if that goal had counted for Frank Lampard, maybe it should have been 2-2, and that game would have ended so ignominiously. Ended 4-1 in favor of the Germans, so maybe that was what led that call for goal line technology. It barely fails. We've seen goal line technology fail in recent times in the English Premier League, but that's one of the technology that has been appointed in football in recent times that doesn't get it wrong. When all of the ball crosses all of the line, the referee and I think his assistants, but mainly the referee is notified immediately. We've seen teams lose matches just because the referee or the assistant referee didn't see that ball cross the line.
Now it is England with a free kick on the left-hand side of the German area. No thanks to Antonio Rudiger, who bashed into Bukayo Saka as the 19-year-old Englishman was making his way forward. And the big boys have made their way into the box. Maguire Stones as the free kick is sent in, headed by Maguire, repelled by Matt Hummels. And Maguire will choose to play it safe, heading back into Kyle Walker, who does the safest thing, which is to send the ball longer to the path of Jordan Pickford.
Anthony Rudiger was saved, his bosses were saved because that push on Bukayo Saka was quite unnecessary. He had already put his body around him and there was no need to push it, and then he won a free kick in a bad position. But luckily enough for him, no goals came out of it. But England still maintained possession.
Luke Shaw into Declan Rice. Now it's the turn of John Stones to have a touch of the ball. Calvin Phillips. Rice, no options forward, retreats to Kyle Walker. Calvin Phillips touches to Harry Maguire as England spread the ball to the far right hand side. England in possession in the shape and form of John Stones. As Pickford will collect and send it from whence it came. Cousins up against Kieran Trippier. Heads away and England have a throw in as the German fans cheering on the team on the bleachers at the Wembley Stadium.
Rudiger is having a big job trying to contain Saka. Saka seems to have that put on Anthony Rudiger, so Rudiger is going to have to use a bit more intelligence to be able to master and follow the run of Saka, because he's going to be the outlet. He's going to be the one that's intended to supply the ball for Harry Kane. He's not gotten much of a sniff of it yet, but passage of play now swung into the England squad, and that means that Germany will have to be careful because England have enough great players to actually go on and get that goal.
Yeah, certainly Rudiger would have a hard task on his hands, especially as Robin Gosens is playing as a wing back, meaning that Saka would enjoy lots of 1v1 situations with the Chelsea defender as Raheem Sterling is coming in field. Sterling will strike! And it's palmed away by Manuel Neuer.
That was a beautiful strike by that man who scored the 2 goals for England. So why ever not? Why didn't he take another picture of it? And he saw where he was going to. He went for the far post and he had Manuel Neuer calling on all of his years of experience and making sure he uses 2 hands, because sometimes goalkeepers use one and that one hand wouldn't be able to pump it out as fast as he wants it. Going with his 2 hands actually gave him that purchase on the ball to push it out for a corner kick.
Now England have a corner kick for the efforts of Raheem Sterling. Taken in, headed by Harry Maguire, straight into the hands of Manuel Neuer. But Raheem Sterling, for all of the criticism he has received in the last couple of months, he is the only player in this English side to have scored in this Euro tournament.
And that's why he took a bite of that cherry, and that was beautiful for Raheem Sterling. And that's just to remind the Germans that even though you have started better, at least having more possession, they still have enough players to make something out of it and get those goals. And Harry Kane, maybe not getting the goals, but Raheem Sterling certainly reminding them that he's the reason, his goals are the reason England are where they are today, talking about in the round of 16.
Well, if you're just joining us, you're on to 92.3 Nigeria Info's a commentary coverage of the last 16 encounter, England versus Germany at Wembley. We're 16 minutes into the game, still England 0, Germany 0. And it's Toni Kroos who appears to have been brought down this time around by Bukayo Saka. And Germany are in possession through Matt Hummels, just outside his 18-yard area, gives it to Rudiger. Rudiger would find Toni Kroos, who is once again bashed into, at this time by a different player, Calvin Phillips, not allowing him to turn and see what's ahead of him. That would certainly be an instruction from Gareth Southgate.
Everyone they have to do, they can't allow him to settle and navigate this game, because he's the purpose of the game. He can't be allowed to feel out and decide just make choices as to who have the luxury of who's going to pass the ball, to make it difficult for him, force him into making a decision, force him into making a pass, and we've gotten a chance to do something.
And England with a chance to break away now. Raheem Sterling with the ball, rises in support, so is Harry Kane, and Bukayo Saka selects Bukayo Saka, looking to tread it back into Raheem Sterling. That the Germans will stay strong to repel the attack of the English and maybe turn it over and have one of their own, as Leon Goretzka switches play to Kai Havertz down the left, but a little bit overhit, and the German number 11 will not collect.
Just a bit too heavy for Kai Havertz, but that's how fast we've seen defense turn to attack on both sides. By the way, I mean, it's not just the Germans who were able to make this into an attack. We saw the English also quickly do that, but that ball meant for Kai Havertz meant that Havertz had pushed it down. We see that two defenders to get beaten off, so that's still a bit of work for him to get anywhere near the 18-yard box of the English team. But as it stands, Kai Havertz is a go-to, Kai Havertz is a conduit, and Kai Havertz will cause even more havoc in this game.
Certainly, and that would of course be what the Germans would be hoping for. Havertz and Werner up front. Serge Gnabry taking a place on the bench, having been the preferred option for Joachim Löw. Wondering, Angie, if Timo Werner's growing knowledge of the English game would have influenced Löw's decision to start him ahead of the Bayern Munich man.
I also want to think that maybe he wants to, he knows the English players, he's played with a lot of them, he's played this league very well, and maybe he also knows a bit of Wembley. But I also think Serge Gnabry, not that he didn't do very well in his last game, it's a different option. He wants a pure target man, he wants a pure striker there, and that's what he's using Timo Werner for. He hasn't shown us kind of stuff that Memphis Depay, for example, did for Netherlands, where he's good in hold-up play. He's not playing behind the strikers like Morata did yesterday, but still he's the kind of nine where you'll be hoping that when the ball drops to his feet, he'll be able to cock and shoot immediately he gets that chance.
There is Kyle Walker for the Three Lions, comes in field to Harry Kane, who's still yet to open his scoring in the competition. Haven't finished top scorer in the qualifying, and it is an offside situation for the English, as Bukayo Saka was looking to pick out Kieran Trippier in an arrangement that I'm looking forward to seeing how it works out. Trippier and Kyle Walker down the right hand side for England, perhaps as a result of the marauding runs of Robin Gosens. It's been disastrous for opponents who've come up against Germany. Now Toni Kroos, misplaced pass, uncharacteristic of the man. England will collect.
Quite well from him, but as I said, you shouldn't allow him to dictate pace. He shouldn't be allowed to have the chance to just decide who he wants to pass the ball to. Anytime he gets the ball, close him down quickly, let him make it a clumsy pass, or tackle him and get the ball off him, and that's what the English just did now. They're putting that pressure on Toni Kroos, not allowing him to collect the balls at will.
Certainly, it's the case for Germany and Toni Kroos, as Manuel Neuer sends the ball forward. It's headed away by Harry Maguire, collected by Raheem Sterling, who's up against two German players, and Raheem Sterling would win the throw-in for England off the feet of Joshua Kimmich.
That was nifty by Harry Maguire, but that's the kind of headers that central defenders go for. It's probably just to give you a warning that if you come very close to me, I'm going to take anything I see in front of you, and that's kind of what you want a central defender to do. The big, the bold, scare the life out of any of the attackers who want to think that they can just toss and turn around where he is.
Now the throw is not one the English will take full advantage of. It was Luke Shaw who found Raheem Sterling, but his touch was a little bit heavy, and the ball trickled out for a goal kick for the Germans. 51% of the ball belongs to Germany, 49% to England. Not much difference in that respect. 2 goals, 2 shots on goal for England, 2 on target, 2 on goal for Germany, only 1 on target. Well, now it's Bukayo Saka who will be speeding away, coming in field. Finds Declan Rice surging forward, picks out Raheem Sterling. All of this happening at the centre of the park. Calvin Phillips. Now Luke Shaw would have a fill of it into Bukayo Saka, looked to have been gone into by Leon Goretzka. And indeed, the referee, Danny McKelly, has pointed to the spot where the incident took place, and England will have a chance to take a free kick.
Leon thought he won that ball fairly, but we didn't get any touch of the ball. It got maybe just a slight touch, but also took a bit of Saka, and the referee says no, and that's illegal, and the free kick goes aside for England.
There the usual suspects arriving at the sport. It is Kieran Trippier and Luke Shaw. One would be the actual taker, the other will only serve as a decoy. Which would it be? We're yet to know. Last time out it was Luke Shaw who took it. Will it be Kieran Trippier this time around? Shaw into the box searching for Maguire, and it's cleared away by Kimmich.
That's quite a strange one. He had Timo Werner getting the touch to it, and that was quite a strange one because after he got it, he just played it loosely, and somehow the ball sashayed and ricocheted all around, but it's gone for England. That was quite a strange one. You'd be wondering, Timo Werner, if they're going to get that ball, do something with it, look up and get a pass. He passed it around and almost compromised his goalkeeper, who had to take an unorthodox shot and take the ball away from danger. So it's all the way back. Calvin Phillips is the one with possession now. He's had to move it all the way back to the England half of the pitch.
This is England's 10th appearance in the UEFA European Championship. They finished third in 1968 and also reached the semi-finals at home soil in 96. Can they get to the quarters to take on Sweden or Ukraine? Now Germany stand in their way, and it is John Stones in possession for them as they look to find a chink in the rear guard of the Germans. Here is Raheem Sterling up against Kimmich and Thomas Muller. It would be a free kick for the English as Matthias Ginter has brought down Luke Shaw on the far left-hand side.
Luke Shaw had gone. It was fortunate for Luke Shaw that the bounce came from him, and that came from Sterling, and he was looking to get Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw got it, but Ginter pulled him at the back of his shirt, and he's also got the yellow card for his troubles. I want to find out if he actually tucked himself into the referee's book, or if the referee gave him the card just for that. He touched him, he pulled him back. It was a neat deft touch because he already had beaten him, and he was going to swing that ball in from that corner where he was, and he had to stop him, and he did that illegally, and he's in the referee's book. And once again, England have a free kick. We've seen Trippier pull ranks earlier on after Luke Shaw tried to take it. Last one, Luke Shaw tried it, but now I think Trippier is also going to take it from here. He's been pulling his ranks. I think he's got first dibs when it comes to taking free kicks.
Harry Kane has been flying under the radar for much of the tournament. He has a chance now to get England the lead. In the box, of course, watching what will coming from the left-hand side. And indeed it's Trippier. And Trippier sends it into the box. It is Joshua Kimmich who had just ahead of Raheem Sterling. And much better delivery this time around from Kieran Trippier.
He put the ranks, he takes that free kick, and he was actually going to get to Raheem Sterling's head. I think the advantage Joshua Kimmich had to be able to touch that ball, and the fact that he's not the tallest of men, talking about Sterling, and so Kimmich heading that ball out was because of the advantage of his height. The goalkeeper thinks he stopped that from going into a corner, but he didn't do that.
Well, Germany had more defending to do as England would send in the corner kick. Ball comes in. It is Hummels who gets in it. Heading it away, straight into Calvin Phillips with a brilliant ball now into Kyle Walker. Stands it up. Walker, Maguire is misdirected it when he was perhaps in with a chance of getting England the lead. But it has fizzled away, and the Three Lions and the Mannschaft would keep this encounter at 0-0.
Diamond shot lead the game, but that was a good job by Ginter, making sure that he doesn't get any purchase to it. That's talking about Harry Maguire. Maguire, central defender, is a good header of the ball. So Ginter just got enough touch to him, maybe not to win a penalty because it does look like a normal charge, but that touch on Harry Maguire meant that Maguire misdirected his free kick, his header, and didn't get what he wanted.
Fine margins in football. This time it was Harry Maguire who couldn't make the most of a chance as Raheem Sterling is running riot. Had the beating of his first marker, but couldn't evade the attentions of the second. And now Germany have the ball. Hummels to Ginter. Ginter now to Joshua Kimmich. Kimmich searching for options. Lots of sideways and backward passings from the Germans. But they can come forward now. It was nearly Kai Havertz unleashing the pace of Timo Werner.
He just saw Timo Werner and he had gotten that touch correct, or if the defender, I think that was Declan Rice, who was aware and awake to what Kai Havertz meant to do, because he was trying to put that ball over the head of Declan Rice. If he had gotten that touch to it, that meant that Timo Werner would have gotten that ball. When you score, well, Timo Werner is not a player a lot of people have a lot of confidence on, but at least would have been true on goal.
And Werner and Havertz did not have the compliments of coming up against club teammates Mason Mount and Ben Chilwell. England taking the precaution. Of course, Mount and Chilwell, after the game against Scotland, spent a lot of time with the Scots who tested positive for COVID-19. And as a result, they are not, Mason Mount is on the bench, actually, and it's not going to start. Whether that indeed still has something to do with the COVID-19 situation, I do not quite know, but if he's on the bench, certainly it would be for tactical reasons.
It's got nothing to do with the COVID-19. I mean, if you had a chance to have COVID-19, you're not going to be on the bench. We missed those other two games, the last game, because of the fact that we had too much close contact with the players from the Scottish team, and the Scottish player tested positive for coronavirus. Of course, no other Scottish player tested positive, but I mean, that's a precautionary measure. I think it's about 5 days or thereabout before you take those tests, and then you can find out whether you're positive or negative. So it's not positive. But maybe sitting on the bench for those days has changed the complexion a bit. He was a short starter the first two games. Maybe not playing the last game has given the coach a different perspective, and Mason Mount is on the bench.
Well, not a lot of activity, to be honest. And it is Germany who can bring the ball away through Leon Goretzka. Goes to his right to find Kimmich, looking to pick out Timo Werner with a long ball now. Calvin Phillips with a long ball of his own for Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling will keep the ball in place. It is Raheem Sterling up against two. Raheem Sterling teasing and tossing. Raheem Sterling balling to the box. It is headed away by Toni Kroos into the part of Declan Rice, who couldn't pick out Luke Shaw. And now the Germans assert a little bit more of calm and control on the ball by finding Thomas Muller. Manuel Neuer, who sends it into Kimmich. Kimmich in a tangle with Luke Shaw. And the German wins a free kick for his country.
A very strange one, a very funny one as it stands, but the game has kind of petered out. It's not as the Germans are actually guilty of not being crispier with their passes, a lot of misplaced passes here and there for the German. The England, of course, have gone into the game. They're not as wary as they were earlier on when Germany was pressing possession for the first 30 minutes. So Germans now know that England can actually do something. But I think what's even more telling for me here is the fact that England have changed formation again, and still Harry Kane has not been brought into the game. Not much. I mean, the boy had two touches. One of the touches was when he came into, he had to come somewhere close to the midfield to see if he could get a touch on the ball. As it stands still, no player has actually created a touch for him to get a chance to even get a sniff at goal.
Here is Kai Havertz picking out Kimmich down the right hand side, stands the ball up. Germany with a chance. And the ball evades everyone, including the arriving Robin Gosens. And what, as of yet, to my own eyes, is the clearest chance created by Germany since the start of the game.
A good play, of course, going on around, and that ball got into that man talking about Gosens. And you saw the unrushing young Goretzka. Good one by Joshua Kimmich. Just touches it nicely and softly, and he was looking for Joshua Kimmich, but he was a tad too heavy, and he knows that he missed a chance to get a sniff and go, because get a touch on it, and we're going to have to force Pickford into at least making a save. But that's the kind of pressure the Germans can actually put when they have a chance.
I have that finding Timo Werner and Spence Werner. It's a wonderful save by Jordan Pickford. We have to talk about the sublime pass from the number 7 to pick out his Chelsea teammate. And in the end, it is a Pickford to the rescue of England.
Brilliant once again by Kai Havertz, and the youngster shows that he's not scared of the occasion. Passes that ball to Timo Werner. Timo Werner's touch not too bad, and I think through the angle that he was in, probably had to turn to take some, maybe taking it over the goalkeeper, took a shot and go for his near post, but Jordan Pickford gathered. I think it's a much maligned Timo Werner, maybe for reasons like this. And if it was someone who was in a much better form, someone who was much better confidence, maybe he could have tried something else. He could have tried a rising shot. He could have gone for the far corner. He could have done something else. But for this miss, it's not the biggest of misses. Maybe just the goalkeeper gathering it.
Now the angle was a little bit against Timo Werner, who is right-footed, of course. Had to go with his left, but not taking much away from Jordan Pickford, who had to anticipate that quite brilliantly, to rushing to rescue the situation for England. And earlier we saw Manuel Neuer, his opposite number, pull out a fantastic save versus Raheem Sterling. And now the English goalkeeper, who, by the way, made his debut against Germany, has indeed equalled that, the saving side of things. It is Germany, Trugesund, who find the ball in midfield. Switching to Leon Goretzka is Toni Kroos. Rudiger will just step on the ball to guide it to Toni Kroos. At the pair exchange a couple of passes deep into the German half of the pitch, as Germany are gradually bringing the ball forward. Hummels back to Toni Kroos. Goes into Hummels again, who's just gone past the halfway line. Remember, of course, listening, that it is Germany kicking the ball from the left to the right. Brilliant ball into Joshua Kimmich. Cross into the box is repelled by Harry Maguire. And that is the brilliance of Toni Kroos when you give him time to turn and pick out his options.
I don't know which one was poorer, the touch by Joshua Kimmich or the move as it stands, because that touch, he didn't kill it quite good enough. But as it stands, of course, that goal wouldn't have counted. But even as he plays off Jordan Pickford, was actually very good goalkeeping. He almost passed through his legs. Almost passed through his legs. He just closed his legs before all of that ball could squeeze out of that. If not, that would have been into the back of net. And that's why you want a target man. That's why you want a typical 9, a plus striker. So Naby would have done something different. Maybe still get the ball, maybe still score. But as a target man, talking about Timo Werner, Kai Havertz had him just exactly where he wanted him to be. Slip the ball to him, and he just touches it. I think this time around, Pickford was quite lucky to get a touch to it, or stop that ball from passing just completely through his legs.
Now Timo Werner, 25 years of age, born on the 6th of March 1996, making his 42nd appearance for Germany. And at that time, he's scored 6 goals, couldn't make it 7. But that is the danger of the man playing off the shoulder of the last defender. Quite pacey, and when released in the form that Kai Havertz did indeed, releasing for that chance, he could be quite dangerous. There is Maguire exchanging passes with Declan Rice. Rice chooses to play it safe, sending it back to John Stones, who will pick out Jordan Pickford.
England tries to circulate passes and push the Germans away and see if they can get a chance to try the quick, fast one. Maguire trying to be part of that build-up, and you understand what's happening here. England trying to see if they can build something, push the Germans, bring them out a bit more, and then get that space to tread in from the middle.
Luke Shaw to take the throw in for the Three Lions. Ball is currently on the left-hand side of the German half of the pitch. It is the English number 3 ball in hand, looking for options. Harry Kane opening up, chooses to go with Bukayo Saka, who finds Raheem Sterling. Harry Kane has gone deep to have a touch of the ball. Now Declan Rice can drive the Three Lions forward. Now picks out Trippier. Kyle Walker is arriving. Kyle Walker selects Trippier once again, now into Declan Rice, bombing forward. It's marked out by the attentions of the pair of German defenders. England still in possession. Brilliant flick by Trippier to find Bukayo Saka. Oh, nice Calvin Phillips sends the ball into the box. It's defended by Leon Goretzka. And, well, looks like England have earned themselves a corner kick. Not so, it was indeed a throw-in, taken quickly. Calvin Phillips looking to backheel the ball into the path of Bukayo Saka. Now Kai Havertz, it's speeding away up against Declan Rice. Still Kai Havertz. And he wins through us. He's barged into by Calvin Phillips.
We're trying to see if we could wait up and see if some other German players will join in the front and maybe get a run off maybe Thomas Müller or Jan Goretzka, and that's why he ended up getting fouled by Kyle Walker. We're trying to see if any of the players will come in, but England had a spot of possession. They put Germany under the crush. Rudiger and Saka still continuing with that also. It's quite interesting to see the smaller Saka standing up with his weight and still putting a lot of pressure on that man, Anthony Rudiger, who's one of the smallest of players. So it's an interesting matchup. Some interesting matchup also. We're seeing some of Müller and Harry Maguire also getting into it a bit in this game. So we're seeing some very, very interesting stuff going on here.
Now the 2% that forms the superiority in the ball possession side of things reside with England at the moment. We have 52% of the ball to Germany's 48%, and it is possession almost even both sides. But it stays 0-0. Not a lot of chances have been created, I have to say. Raheem Sterling testing Manuel Neuer from far out, and Timo Werner coming close, only to be denied by a brilliant save by Pickford. And Karl Havertz thought it was clean through on goal, but pace for pace, not a lot of forwards can beat Kyle Walker.
Some heavy tackles coming in there. He thinks he's been fouled, and that's talking about the Real Madrid man, Toni Kroos. He thought that there was a foul there. I think he's still on the ground. They're waiting to see when he gets up. Also, Kyle Havertz thinks it was a part of a sandwich, an illegal sandwich, but the referee thinks there's nothing to it, and so Jordan Pickford is going to take that free kick instead. The referee's blown. I think he's blown at, and he was actually offside or a free kick for that.
Jordan Pickford will send the ball as far as he can. And he is searching for Harry Kane, who wins the header. It is Bukayo Saka up against Rudiger.
An interesting one. He actually won that ball. Quite interesting. I mean, the shot Bukayo Saka against a tall Rudiger, a ball that comes in the air, actually won the ball off Rudiger. Quite strange.
Joshua Kimmich searching for Timo Werner. It is Harry Maguire who would repel that attack. Now Luke Shaw will square the ball into Calvin Phillips. Declan Rice coming away with it just at the edge of his own 18-yard area. It is John Stones who would pick out the West Ham United midfielder once again. And now Harry Kane. Brilliant ball, looking to set Calvin Phillips on his way. It would have made that more of a chance had he had the pace, Calvin Phillips, but not his best attribute, NG.
It needs to the defense, but the goalkeeper also had a reading of feet, and he didn't have the legs to be able to make that run to get that ball before the goalkeeper, and it's come on what we call goalkeeper's ball, because he didn't have the pace, he wouldn't get to the ball, so the goalkeeper talking about Manuel Neuer gathers nicely and says thank you very much. But ball and possession still back with England.
Well, if you were looking for the frenzied kind of football we saw yesterday between Croatia and Spain, and later on between France and Switzerland, well, I'm sure as far as the scoreline is concerned, you'd be a tad bit disappointed, as we're up to 40 minutes. Still England 0, Germany 0. Both sides are paying a lot of respect to each other and being quite cautious in the approach to the game. It is indeed the round of 16, and there is no margin for error. You lose, and indeed you're out.
You lose and you're home. For Croatia's game against Spain yesterday was 1-0 and then 1-1. Not too many goals. All of the action came after that first half. For the other game, that's talking about France. France were losing to Switzerland 1-0 throughout the first half. The goals came in the second half. 5 goals. All the other 14 goals we had yesterday. I don't think we're going to see that kind of day today. Nah, we're not going to see. I probably won't even see half of those goals, but who knows? Football has a way of changing the narratives.
Well, can that narrative be changed? Not at the moment. Ball has gone out of play. Also, I thought Calvin Phillips managing to keep it in touch. And now England can come forward. Declan Rice will pick out Harry Maguire. Now Harry Kane can run at the German defence. Still Harry Kane looks to have been brought down by Goretzka. And yes, indeed, the English captain brought down by the Bayern Munich man, in a position where, of course, Trippier or Luke Shaw can send in a free kick into the box to perhaps pick out some of the taller players for England, the Maguires and John Stones, and maybe even Captain Harry Kane.
He left his leg a bit too long in it. He got the touch of the ball and then he left a part of his legs for Harry Kane to trip, and that's why the referee had to blow a free kick to that. If he had just touched that ball again and with on his leg, maybe the referee wouldn't have blown, and that's why I was trying to tell the referee I got the ball, but he got it illegally. Trippier is going to put it in. I think Maguire is going to be one of the ones, and that ball is going to be meant for this. Harry Maguire. Instead, there's John Stones, central defenders, good header of the balls, and then but that shows us the quality of Harry Kane. It looked like a perfectly innocuous ball, but Harry Kane, of course, we know can actually pick a spot, just two more steps for Harry Kane, and he can pick a spot where he's going to coil it in, and that's why Leon Goretzka had no other option but to make sure they don't have enough time to think about it.
Now, looking on for England in the stands as a fan is, of course, David Beckham, who's known for his free kick brilliance. Sent searching for Harry Kane. It is Matt Hummels who would assert himself on that occasion to get to the ball ahead of the English captain.
He was sniffing it, and Harry Kane could just see his name is glory. Matt Hummels was fast enough, quick enough to stop that ball from getting to Harry Kane, because that was a header from Harry Kane, and that was surely going to nestle into the back of net. Hummels was aware, and that could have been an own goal, but that's not a man who's scared. He got an own goal in the game in the very first game against France, and he was not too scared of going for that ball. And he did the right thing finally.
Now the corner kick fizzed in by Kieran Trippier, headed away by Germany. Calvin Phillips who would collect and would send the ball straight into Jordan Pickford for safety. And Pickford is himself looking for a shooting right. So what a switch of play into Calvin Phillips. And Kai Havertz would bring it down, but the referee would wait for play to continue. England with the advantage. Ball sent into the part of Bukayo Saka, and off the tie of the Arsenal forward, Germany have a throw-in.
Interesting really. I'm talking about Bukayo Saka and Antonio Rudiger, but this time around Rudiger is the one who's gotten away with it. Bukayo Saka touched Rudiger, got a touch to it, but that ball was judged off, came off from that man Antonio, from Bukayo Saka. But it's Germany who's been building, and Germany are doing exactly what I think you should do to that man talking about Toni Kroos. Yes, he thinks it's a foul, but if England want to get something, you have to stop Toni Kroos from dwelling on the ball. Toni Kroos brilliant comes from him holding the ball, looking up and finding who's going to touch the ball, and that's Calvin Phillips with a very nasty tackle with his studs a bit high, not too high, but maybe that's why the referee did not give him a red card, but he actually crossed his studs on Toni Kroos, and that was quite illegal, and that must be very painful for the Real Madrid player. And Calvin Phillips knows he was a foul and he was going to get himself into the referee's book, but maybe that's going to be Toni Kroos is going to give them a bit more respect now, because he knows that he's going to be getting into this kind of tackles and they're not going to let him run around with the ball.
Now Calvin Phillips joins the company of Declan Rice and Leon Goretzka. That's Ginter rather, who protested himself into the referee's books, as we've seen 3 yellow cards dished out in this game already. 45 minutes is up. Let's see how much of time has been added by the fourth official, as we're gradually coming to the conclusion of this first half. This epic encounter, another chapter in this historic rivalry between Germany and England. Hummels into Muller. Muller gives the ball away now to Raheem Sterling. It is Harry Kane in support. Sterling is driving through. Was he brought down? Harry Kane will score for England. Oh no, he wouldn't. That was a last-ditch tackle by Matt Hummels to deny the English captain.
That is Matt Hummels covering himself in all of glory. That is Matt Hummels showing that he's not scared of having to do what the right thing to do. But that's what Harry Kane will give you. Give him a slip and go, and you know that he's going to have the defenses in 6 and 7. It just takes a defender off Matt Hummels' quality and a defender off Matt Hummels' intelligence and brilliance to stop that from going in. I think the referee's going for half-time, even if we're going to see pictures of that again, but wonderful Matt Hummels, beautiful. First of all, beautiful from Raheem Sterling, and shakes away Joshua Kimmich and everyone running. He runs in, gets that ball to him that's talking about Harry Kane. But I'm thinking maybe he looked like he was offside there. He had the goalkeeper rushing to see if he can get a touch in it, but He stopped with a tad too heavy. That's talking about Harry Kane. Just a tad too heavy. As he pushes it, and that's the reason Matt Hummels was able to recover. If his first touch was closer to his legs, maybe just first touch gets it close to his leg, not too high, and there was nothing that anybody could do about it because Hummels was a bit further, was about 2 or 3 paces further from him. But that touch was a bit too heavy, pushes it, and Matt Hummels was able to clear his lines. That's not the first time Matt Hummels has cleared his line. The very first one, I think, was just a few minutes, just about 2 minutes ago. Matt Hummels also had to clear the line when immediately that ball was coming in. He had to head that ball away from that corner that came in. This time around again, Matt Hummels well alive to his duty. Kane tried to use his body, but Hummels leans it, stops it, and takes that ball away.
Well, indeed, that is indeed turned out to be the last major action of the half, as the referee Danny McKelly has blown for half-time. Germany 0, England 0.
Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, a tournament with a difference, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide.
They seem to keep hold of the ball, see so much of the ball, but at the end of the day, they tend to do little or nothing with the ball.
Floated into the box. It's in.
A player who's been having a renaissance after season.
He connected to the pass like a socket. Fire.
What you do is sit back, where your weaknesses, and then when they get the ball, they counter-attack you.
It was a brilliant piece of play by Karim Benzema.
They decide against that counter-attack and go all the way back.
Beautiful. Trent Alexander-Arnold, 38 meters. This is your goal of the week.
When you defend, you can defend for 91 minutes, and just for 1 minute, everything will change.
He completes his hat-trick. He's in the pursuit of perfection.
Best days are behind him already, and young managers are picking up the match.
Covering every blade of grass for a full month from 11th June to 11th July 2021 on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 on Nigeria Info. It's live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, a tournament with a difference, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide.
They seem to keep hold of the ball, see so much of the ball, but at the end of the day, they tend to do little or nothing with the ball.
Floated into the box. It's in.
A player who's been having a renaissance after season.
He connected to the pass like a socket. Fired the shot like a rocket.
From no other person but Rafael Varane.
All they want to do is sit back, where your weaknesses, and then when they get the ball, they counter-attack you.
It was a brilliant piece of play by Karim Benzema.
They decide against that counter-attack and go all the way back.
beautiful. Trent Alexander-Arnold, 38 meters. This is your goal of the week.
When you defend, you can defend for 91 minutes, and just for 1 minute, everything will change.
He completes his hat trick. He's in the pursuit of perfection.
Best days are behind him already, and young managers are picking up the man.
Covering every blade of grass for a full month from 11th June to 11th July 2021 on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 on Nigeria Info. It's live football, just the way you like it. Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global, and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out.
And Manuel Neuer, who stopped that wonderful effort from Raheem Sterling, of course. Let's look at the options on the bench. Serge Gnabry could be called upon. There is Leroy Sané, of course, looking at the attacking side of things for Germany. For England, well, they might even want to introduce Mason Mount for some impetus going forward, as well as Jack Grealish. So, you are Gareth Southgate, you are Yogi Löw. What would you be looking to do at the resumption of the second 45?
I think for England, first things first, they've actually shown the kind of terror he could be. Talking about Harry Kane, he's finally gotten the sniff, and he's had the defenses in 6 and 7. So I think that's what I'll be thinking about if I was Gareth Southgate. How to make sure more of those balls get to Harry Kane. He's going to score. If he even gets too much chances like that, he's going to score. He's not asking for a lot. 2 chances for Harry Kane before he can score. Well, as I said, it's a cagey game, so I'm thinking that there are going to be so many chances to come in. I don't think I think that you're going to score immediately. You get first chance. Probably will not work like that. So, but we've seen what Harry Kane can do. You can see the danger that Harry Kane poses. So I think I'll just let him fly for a bit, and then there are many other changes. Maybe it's even time to think of giving Calvert-Lewin a sniff of a competition. Let him just get a chance to get into this game. If goals don't come in, Marcus Rashford is also there. You could decide to do something for just get Marcus Rashford to try and supply the ball to Harry Kane also, or Harry Kane can play off Marcus Rashford. But at the moment, England are okay. For Germany also, they've also been okay. They've got a few shots and they've got a few sniffs. That ball that fell for Timo Werner, and I said, if a player that was in confidence, or not even confidence, if a player who had a different state of mind, he could have actually lifted that ball over the goalkeeper, over Pickford, and put that ball into the back of the net. But by and large, it's been quite effective what they're doing. Not totally effective as no goals have come in, but you can see how Kai Havertz is such a good footballer. He's doing quite well. Toni Kroos also spraying those passes, so it's working in that way. So I don't think any changes will have to come in soon. But both benches have players they could call. And Leroy Sané is there, Gundogan is there, and that's something. Serge Gnabry is also there, but that's basically the more popular players they have. Can he get something else? Maybe, but for the England team, Jack Grealish is also there to spray in passes, create deeper crosses, deeper passes as opposed to crosses. You talk about Mason Mount. Phil Foden, of course, puts it on the bench. So England also have players they can actually dig out. But for this next 15 minutes, I think what the coach will be looking at is seeing how it's going to turn out before he decides to make a change.
Right. Size it up for the next 15 minutes. So the first 15 minutes of the second 45, and then see where you could try to implement changes. Well, we know that you're there listening, and of course, we are a very interactive radio station. So let's get your thoughts on WhatsApp 0809 030 6416. We might even be able to squeeze in 1, maybe 2 calls before the resumption of the second half. It is England versus Germany, locked at 0-0 at the moment. What are your thoughts on the game so far? Who do you think would progress after the second 45? 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0003, 0817 923 0007, 0817 923 0009. Let's say welcome to our first caller on the belt. Welcome, nice to have you join us. Hello? Are you there?
Hello?
Yes, nice to have you join us. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is
I'm so sorry, you're going to have to get back to us. Terrible reception from your call. Welcome, you're on to Nigeria Info. Hello. Nice to have you join us. Welcome.
Yeah, the game so far, the both sides are playing well.
Okay.
And I feel the German have more experience than the English boys, because for the English they are good, but the Germans they are playing well.
Okay.
And I will not put my excuses because of what happened yesterday. Many people go home with disappointment yesterday. So let the 19 minutes come and pass. And I thank Nigeria for the way you are, transmitting this game.
All right.
It's just like we are in London.
Okay. Thank you. Well, that's what we do right here on 92.3. Next caller, you have just 30 seconds. and then we'll be on our way. Okay, you wouldn't even get your chance. This one says, a wonderful evening to you, Angie, and your namesake, Kosi. Your name is Kosi, and you say you expect both teams. Okay, as expected, both teams were conservative, looking for who would blink first. This sort of game is won by changes from the bench and also individual brilliance, so a defensive error. Just a goal will win it. Nice commentary, guys. Thank you very much. That's the much we can take on WhatsApp for now, but keep your messages pouring in, and we will do justice to as much as we can before we leave. Let's head straight now to the second 45. We're on the way for the second 45. England passing now. Of course, it was Germany who got us on the way from the kickoff in the first half. Sides have been changed. It is now England, still cladding all white, attacking now towards the right and defending on the left. Germany in all black, defending on the right and now attacking towards the left. And 0-0 is the way the game started in the first. Scoreline hasn't been altered, still 0-0. But a lot could happen, NG, in the 45 that is to come.
It's the hope that kills, the coast. It's the hope that kills. You know, when you're losing, you know you're losing, and then you just know it's done. But when it's goalless, both of you think you have a chance at it, and that's where we, as a fan of any of these sides, I'll be very worried about it. But you also win if you're still goalless. So I think that's what it is, the hope that kills. Both sides have a chance and have a shot at it, and they're hoping to take their chances. For England, they can't take their chances. They've got enough goal scorers, even looking pretty when it comes to those who score goals, as opposed to what Germany have on the bench. But for the German team, as someone alluded, there's a lot of experience in that team. Thomas Müller has not got a goal in the Euros as it is, and they've not even done well in the Euros in recent times, but still they've got players with vast experience they can call on.
You know, players with vast experience you can call on. Well, some would also say that England have a lot of youth on the bench that they could call on as well. Which way the pendulum will swing, we're here to report to you as Luke Shaw is enjoying a bit of the ball and has sent it into his teammate Harry Maguire, who plays it just sideways to John Stones. And now England can gradually come forward. Ball is into Harry Kane, sandwiched by three black shirts, and as they rid him off the ball. Now Thomas Müller finds Leon Goretzka. Germany attacking down the right-hand side in the shape and form of Kai Havertz. Havertz will leave it for Goretzka. Now Toni Kroos with options, selects Antonio Rudiger. Matt Hummels is the man in charge now as the Germans are coming forward gradually. Now there is space for Kai Havertz, who seems to have drifted to the right hand side, picks out Joshua Kimmich, infield to Toni Kroos. Toni Kroos coming forward. It was an inventive play. Now Toni Kroos will set the ball for Robin Gosens. It's a cross into the box. It's Kai Havertz, saved by Jordan Pickford. And what a strike that was from the Chelsea man.
That's the brilliance of the youngster I've talked about, talking about Kai Havertz, and that's one of the things you like, and you want impetus of youth. He just lets it fly one time, but all that brilliant save by Jordan Pickford, one-handed save. He had to get a touch to it, and he did. Was able to get into the back of the net. Yes, it could have been, and that would have been embarrassing for the goalkeeper if he had gone in from there. But first time hit by that young man, talking about Kai Havertz, and he had Pickford scrambling, but does get his hands to it.
Corner kick for Germany. It's headed and now cleared out by Kieran Trippier. Here's Jordan Pickford with a second remarkable save of the game. First off, Timo Werner, and now Kai Havertz with a great shot on the half volley. and brilliant strike met with an equally brilliant save from the England number 1.
A good strike, and that ball involved Tony Cruz, who looked like a ball was leaving his leg, but somehow he was able to touch it down inadvertently, and in the end, it got to the feet of Kai Havertz, the young man who is a thorn on the side of the defense of most teams he's played against in recent times, and he forced that brilliant save from Jordan Pickford.
Well, it's Germany who has started the second half, the brighter side, both in terms of ball possession and chances created. Oh, that was a good strike from Kai Havertz, and one he would be looking to replicate, and maybe now to perfection in time to come in the second half. Hummels back to Antonio Rudiger. Rudiger sends it into Manuel Neuer, the captain for the German side. Away from his goal, he looks to spread it out to Joshua Kimmich, but gives away the ball for a throw, and now England can attack in their own.
Too heavy and in the wrong direction, and that's why the ball has gone out for a throw. But even as we've seen pictures once again about that Kai Havertz touch, just lets it fly, just lets it creep. It had the defense of England in 6s and 7s. John Stones tried to rush to see if he could stop it from going in, but he didn't get in. But that was beautiful. That was good by the German.
Yeah, beautifully struck, beautifully saved as well as Harry Kane picks out Kieran Trippier. Now Trippier sets Kyle Walker on his way, but Antonio Rudiger is there. So Rudiger would hoof the ball into the crowd. And now England can have a throw deep in the half of the Germans on the right-hand side. Yes, Rudiger is asking his teammates to keep the focus.
Better say than sorry, and you're actually talking about let's talk to each other. That's what we're telling you. I didn't hear anyone tell me because that was an unnecessary move. Maybe you could have actually directed the ball to somewhere better, but no one could tell me there was no man on you. That's exactly what he was trying to say, and that's why he did not do better with that ball.
Deep cross into the box once again. It's Hummels who would repel for Germany. Trippier would go to ground to rid Kai Havertz off the ball. Now Raheem Sterling is up against Kimmich. He's double teamed. Raheem Sterling comes out with the ball. Still Raheem Sterling in the box of the Germans. Raheem Sterling looking to tease the ball into Harry Kane. It's met by a sea of black shirts. But England can regroup and launch an attack once again.
Timo Werner struggling with the striker at the back of goal, striker on the back of the defender spot. He's not doing it as well as we've seen other strikers do it in recent times. He's not doing well facing or backing the goal as it stands. And that ball was meant for him to be. Cruz had dropped that pass for him, and Cruz would have thought that he would have been able to at least bring him down either with his chest or maybe with his legs, a better control. But instead he lost possession and England got it. But Germany right now still have possession.
Well, we have to observe, NG, that both managers are paying good attention to the wing plays. As you can see, each time Raheem Sterling has a touch of the ball, he is double teamed immediately by Ginter and Joshua Kimmich. And of course, Southgate is playing Kieran Trippier and Kyle Walker in the same breath, just to keep eyes on Robin Gosens, who has managed to be kept a little bit in check and is not marauding forward as he did against the Portuguese.
The Germans used the wing play a lot in the game against Portugal. I talked about Gosens was totally unplayable, a big hero on the night. I mean, I think he ended the game like 69 minutes or 70 minutes, and he still got man of the match for the kind of effort he put in. So you can understand England putting that amount of work on him. But you also think they're not just, the Germans are not just about creating from the wings. They've actually been quite good creating from the middle, as we've seen. Kai Havertz has put in a lot from the middle, and Joshua Kimmich and everyone. So even though the wings have been blocked, the Germans have also effectively used their middle to do something.
It's cross coming into the English box. It was Thomas Muller who rose highest to indeed get ahead of the ball, but as looping as he was, Pickford will clear. But Germany are still on the attack. Danger not completely avoided by England. Tony Cruz sends it now into Kai Havertz. Havertz has the beating of Raheem Sterling, or so he thought, but the Manchester City forward will cover for England.
It looks like there's an injury to Harry Kane, and it looks like he was touched on his knee. when he was trying to play off Matt Hummels. Matt Hummels has been heavy, and Matt Hummels is not taking any prisoners in this game. And when that ball was getting to him, that was Matt Hummels. He hit Matt Hummels, and then he landed heavily on the carpet. I was talking about the grass, and I think the way he landed jarred his knee, and that's a problem for him right now. It doesn't look like he may continue this game. Even if he continues, I don't think he'll finish that game. But that's the quantity of Matt Hummels has been in today's match. It's been totally immense. Able to read most of the things that are coming in, and being able to effectively match out that man. Talking about Harry Kane. Kane's got a few bites of the cherry, but Matt Hummels making sure things don't walk around like that. Even I see pictures of him talking about David Beckham. He does know how to strike when talks about dead balls. Maybe some of those balls have been falling for Kieran Trippier. If only David Beckham was on the pitch.
Well, Harry Kane, yet to see if he would stay clear to continue. The English captain. It's the 6th all-time scorer for England. And 34 goals. 4 more than Alan Shearer. And only behind Michael Owen, Jimmy Greaves, Gary Lineker, Bobby Charlton and Wayne Rooney. As we also see Marcus Rashford just getting instructions to warm up. Should his captain be unable to continue the game, it would be quite devastating for Harry Kane, who is yet to open his account in the Euros. And with it just being a quarter-final, semi-final and a final berth, if he picks up a major injury, it might as well be goodbye to the Euros for the Englishman.
He is free to continue. Will he end the game? I do not know, but he's free to continue. Maybe we'll try and see if we can shake it off, and maybe we'll see if it's not that big. But to me, it looked like he jarred it a bit the way he landed. He didn't land on his foot, because normally it's landing heavily on the foot that ends up jarring the knee, but he landed somewhere around his hips, so I don't know how he got transmitted to problem to the knee. But right now, England will be waiting and hoping he shakes it off and sees if he's going to get a goal today.
Ranked as the one of the top marksmen coming to the Euros. It's been a tad bit disappointing. On 0 goals, as it were, Harry Kane.
A good number of the big boys have started and maybe even ended on 0 goals, and Mbappe being the latest villain in the piece, and Harry Kane wouldn't want to join those maybe not hallowed quarters as it is. He's going to hope to get his account open today.
Calvin Phillips into John Stones. Stones takes it quickly into Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw will go in field to pick out Raheem Sterling, who's been the brightest spark for England. Raheem Sterling is in space, attacking the Germans. Here is Raheem Sterling up against Rudiger, trying to do perhaps a little bit too much for his troubles. Kai Havertz can push an attack for Germany. Havertz picks out Timo Werner. Werner in space. Werner would control. Werner up against John Stones. And Werner will win the corner kick for the Germans.
Jordan Pickford not impressed with his defense at all, but his kick gave it to John Stones for 7 inch blocks. It was 2 on 5 players, and still Germany were able to win a corner kick from this. I think that's what probably has the goalkeeper talking about Jordan Pickford not impressed with it. Timo Werner is not the most brilliant when it comes to playing off the players, but somehow or the other he had the presence of mind to make that ball hit John Stones, and he wins a corner for it. The English are happy that he didn't get into the back of the net, happy that at least the worst was a corner, but still Germany have possession.
They have some defending to do now, the English. Harry Kane does it for them as the corner kick was taken short. It's Tony Kroos who was looking to send that one in with the outside of his foot, but robbing a sense, the Atalanta wing back sends the throw in. It's Kai Havertz looking for the back heel onto the part of his teammate. Ball is sent far to the German half of the pitch. Manuel Neuer would settle it for Rudiger. Now Rudiger would find Matt Hummels. All of this activity going down to the halfway line, just around the centre arc. This ball goes deeper to Rudiger. Hummels. Now Leon Goretzka. Goretzka to Joshua Kimmich. Back into Matthias Ginter.
Talking about Atlanta, strange one as it stands, but not very strange if you think about the kind of season they've had the last 2 seasons. They are the team that have the most goals. They've got, I think, 5 goals in this Euros as it stands. But if you think that Atlanta are a team that are known for scoring goals in the last 2 seasons, maybe not very surprising.
Certainly, and their wing backs have been particularly impressive in the Euros. You talk about Spinazzola for Italy. You talk about Mela for Denmark as well. Quite brilliant.
It's Atlanta. Atlanta are a team who built from everyone scores goals. Most people have almost a pseudo Ajax out from the 90s that we used to know. That's how fluid and fluent Atlanta players are when it comes to scoring goals. Martin O'Rourke is one of the players who doesn't get so much goals. We saw him for the Dutch team they played 2 days ago. But that's how Atlanta have been playing this season and getting a lot of those goals. Even as Raheem Sterling thinks he's been fouled. Look at that, Bukayo Saka. I do not think he's been fouled. I think that ball touched him. I think he got down after the ball had been played. If the referee calls this a foul, that's going to be a red card, and that would be for, I think that's Joshua Kimmich. No, that's Ginter, who would get into the books of the referee. But look at a touch from him. I think he touched him with his knee, but Ginter made sure he put his leg away. And that's why the referee didn't blow. Ginter made sure he got the ball and then folded his legs, and then his knee touched Saka, but that was because of Saka's momentum, not because he fouled him, and that's why the referee didn't blow for a foul.
We'll have to read Ginter's mind, put into a paragraph
right.
if we have to.
Right. That's a different conversation when it comes to footballers.
Plays continued. Bukayo Saka looks like he's okay after what Ginter would forever claim is an inadvertent tackle on the Arsenal man. Here is England in charge via Declan Rice, but only for the moment, as the referee has blown the whistle.
That was heavy on Kai Havertz, but he's a danger. So Maguire had to also even just settle him a bit. We've seen Maguire do that. Maguire do that a bit. The old school central defender kind of thing, where you want to put the fear of God in some of those players who feel a bit too brave. So that tackle was just to scare Kai Havertz a bit. But I don't think that will scare the young man. He's shown that he's not someone who gets scared easily.
Right. Ball has gone out of touch. England will take the throw. Good coaches, activity on the benches, but in terms of players warming up, but a little bit reluctant to effect the change of personnel. Still the same 22 that started. Still on the pitch, defending their flags respectively.
30 minutes to the end of the game, no changes have been made yet. I think I understand the coaches' thoughts. It's not like it's been very poor, but I think right now they're going to be thinking about making changes. England will be thinking about seeing if they can bring a bit more attacking option or somebody to create from the middle. I think that's going to be something they're going to think about, someone to create more chances. If someone puts in the ball for Harry Kane, he's shown that he can be very, very brilliant in front of goal.
Certainly. Well, still a long way out, even if it ends in a 0-0 draw through the 90, there will be extra time. But if it gets to penalties, NG, you've spent quite a lot of time in England. You know that there is a saying that when football goes to penalties, the Germans always win.
I've not spent a lot of time in England, just some time there. But of course, penalties, I don't know if it goes to England. Germans for years have been known as German machines because of their style and how efficient they are. So you don't want to go against the Germans when it comes to penalties. But the last time England played them penalties, we know that England lost that. So they wouldn't want to do that. They wouldn't want the game to go in penalty. But you do what you have to do. If it gets a penalty, England is not going to go into that thinking they're going to lose. You only lose when you lose. So I don't know why you're going to beat yourself down when the game is not over yet. Even as we see Raheem Sterling try to call one over the experience of Manuel Neuer, that would have been asking for too much.
Throwing to Germany. It is Bayern Munich's Joshua Kimmich. Quite a versatile player, can play deep in midfield, and chosen as a wing back for Germany through the Euros. It'll be interesting to see how his former club coach Hansi Flick will deploy him when he takes charge. Maybe as soon as the end of this game, depending on the way it swings. Carl Havertz has given a chase to Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker has the bitten of him. So
I think Joachim Löw is going to be thinking about making a change. I think Timo Werner is probably going to leave soon. I think so. I think there's going to be thoughts about Segnabi or someone else coming in because it looks like it's not really working. It's kind of slacked of a bit. So I'm actually thinking that Germany will blink first. But let's see who's going to do that, because that's one of the things coaches do also. they want to know who's going to blink first. And it looks like Germany may blink first, but we see a lot of England players on the touchline warming up. We thought Harry Kane was going to be out. We saw Rashford warming up, but he's still not coming. But let's wait to see who's going to blink first.
The outfield players available for Yogi Love to call upon: Kevin Vollant, Serge Gnabry, Jamal Musiala, Niklas Sula, Florian Neuhaus, Leroy Sané, Ilkay Gundogan, as well as Emre Can and Robin Koch. For the English, you have Jack Grealish, Jordan Henderson, Marcus Rashford, Tyrone Mings, Conor Cody, Mason Mount, Phil Foden, Rhys James and Jude Bellingham. Sancho, of course, and Bellingham plied a trade in Germany for Borussia Dortmund, but be willing to the know of the German culture of football, just as Kai Havertz is coming forward for Germany down the left-hand side, up against Kieran Trippier. Goes to the edge of the 18-yard box to Rudiger, who would return the ball to the number 7 for Germany, Timo Werner, with a cross into the box. It's played away by Harry Maguire, and now Raheem Sterling can step on the accelerator up against a tree, and he is brought down to the disappointment and protest of Toni Kroos.
I really don't understand what Toni Kroos was protesting. He did foul him. The best he can do is hope he doesn't get a yellow card, but he was deliberate, because if he had let him go, he would of course be bearing in on goal, and that's not what he wanted to do. And that's the best place to foul him. I mean that's where you want to do, get one of those tactical fouls, not far enough for the referee to go a free, not far enough for the referee to give you a yellow card, a red card, especially if it's not that dangerous, and also good enough to stop that kind of attacking play as was coming. So that's the most intelligent thing he did there, stopping him right there, making sure that he kills that momentum that was about to be built.
Yeah, we all talk about the brilliance of Matt Hummels in the game so far, but how important has Harry Maguire been for England in this game, pairing with John Stones, in place of Tyrone Mings, must be really important for the English.
I think it's football is so funny because we love to do with narratives, and we like to do a lot of training, especially in recent football times. We love all the banter things. We forget to think that things change, and football things change. It's not static, and that goes to talk about Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire was called all forms of names, and we saw people calling him midfield, asking Man United should have used that money to do something else, but most of last season, when Harry Maguire got his act together, he was stalwart, and we saw a lot of people think that United struggled because Harry Maguire got injured. And since he came in, the Tyrone Mings, John Stones, and all of that, as Harry Maguire is here, the defense is not shaky. Talking about the England defense, yes, of course, the goalkeeper has been called into action, but that's basic football stuff. But anything that happens right now, I don't know if Maguire will be blamed, but he's had a good game and he's had a good season. The season ended well, even though he got injured, and he's continued from where he stopped.
Only just moments ago, I saw the 12th wonder of the world. It was indeed Bukayo Saka muscling Anthony Rudiger off the ball.
It's been an interesting battle. I've talked about it over and over again. We think that as little as or maybe not as big as Anthony Rudiger is, but that's the impetus of youth. That's why some of these players, these younger players, want them. They're not scared. They haven't learned to fear those big name players. They have not learned to fear anything. They haven't lost enough games to start to fear, and they don't even care. And that's what's working right now.
Sunday. We were wondering who would blink first. Looks like both managers are blinking at the same time. Jack Grealish getting instructions from the English bench. And Serge Gnabry, perhaps as predicted by Angie, is going to be coming in as well for Timo Werner for by Mannschaft.
Not particularly shocking if it comes through, if it comes out, if nothing changes, because you see things end up making the coach change his mind. But not particularly shocking, because I thought that they need a bit more creativity. A lot of soccer have been on about the fact that England didn't even start with enough creative players. Saka, as good as he is, doesn't create in the middle, or where he's playing is not exactly where he's going to create sunsets. And so I felt that they would find somewhere to create something in the middle. So it's not particularly shocking. But right now, as it stands, Serge Gnabry is coming in for Timo Werner. And he had to make the change. It was a change that had to be done because Timo Werner has, I think he's outplayed whatever use he had. I think it's done and dusted, and he had no other option but to bring this Gnabry. Gnabry is going to offer something a bit different. He's more dynamic in his runs, and it's not the classic kind of striker that it is, so I understand it. And right now also it's Jack Grealish coming in for Bukayo Saka. Also a change that I think I saw it coming down, to change that would have been done. It's to create down the middle, because most of the plays that were done by the England team has come from the wings, and it's come from Raheem Sterling and because Saka is having a meaty battle with Rudiger. He's come off good in most of them, but he's not been able to still put in, no matter how good he's come up with, he's not been able to put in those kind of balls that Harry Kane would fancy. So Jack Grealish will be hoping to put in those balls from the middle. For Germany, they'll be hoping that when the ball gets to Serge Gnabry, he's going to be much more intelligent, creating chances and scoring off from those chances.
Well, 11 goals in 38 appearances for Bayern Munich last season for Serge Gnabry. But now a bit about the English game. Spent the years 2013 to 2016 at Arsenal, including a loan at some point at West Bromwich Albion, where Tony Pulis popularly wrote him off as a footballer. And he has indeed come a long way since then, and will be looking to be the one to help the cause of the Germans perhaps get the goal that will see them progress to take on either Sweden or the Ukraine. Now England can come forward. Here is Declan Rice. Declan Rice gets the ball into Luke Shaw. Now Grealish, the substitutes, can have his first influence. And it's not a positive one. It is immediately giving the ball away to the Germans by conceding the free kick.
He wanted to get the ball from Kai Havertz, and then he put in a slight touch and then fouled Kai Havertz. Havertz was not going to do anything but fall down and win that free kick and give his side a chance to start to create from the back, and that's exactly what he did.
Jack Grealish, a lot of fans calling for his inclusion in the English starting 11. Saying he is perhaps the most creative player that they have. He's got 20 minutes to make impact and to add more power to the arguments of those who have only beautiful things to say about him.
It's basically for the creative thing from the middle. Calvin Phillips is not doing it, Declan Rice is not doing it, so you need someone who's going to put in the pass from the middle, even though you have to ask who's putting it for. It's either Raheem Sterling or Harry Kane. That's who the passes are meant for, so that's what they'll be looking at. Even as we see misplaced passes around, first of all, it was England who misplaced the pass, and Germany picks up the pieces, but just to make it to try and create a run, and Germany replaces England in being quite, not even quite absolutely panzer with those passes. So England right now have the creative force with them.
Well, you run to 92.3 Nigeria Info for the commentary coverage of the round of 16 encounter between England and Germany at Wembley. 71 minutes on the clock. England 0, Germany 0. Well, we see yet another yellow card, this time to Atalanta's Robin Gosens.
I don't know what he was doing. I don't know why he went for that, because Trippier had already released the ball, and so there was no need to go for that. He just catches Trippier on his foot, and the referee had no other option but to give him a card for his troubles. There's no reason to go for that tackle because Trippier had released the ball, so it was needless.
Gosens pegged back, was imperious against Portugal, scoring even in the 60th minutes and forcing the on goal of Rafael Guerreiro. So the wing back. Now the ball is gone up to Germany, who take the throw quickly, sending the ball into the path of Thomas Hummels. Is Joshua Kimmich. Now Cruz can take charge, lays it on to Thomas Müller, who's been largely anonymous through the game so far. And now Manuel Neuer can touch and send it as far as he can in search of Serge Gnabry, the substitutes.
Both sides be aware that this can actually end as a lone goal game, and we're hoping to see if they can actually finish it in this half as it stands and not get into extra times. But it's something we always know that it's when you're attacking, you're also in danger of defending. So the two teams have been very conservative. They've been, even as much as they're attacking, they have made sure they haven't left the backs open. Even as Kieran Trippier looks like through the hamstring, and he's touching the back of his legs, and he does look like he's done. He's touching his hamstrings.
Well, it's sad reading for Gareth Southgate, but they do have Rhys James on the bench. who is more naturally suited to take his place should he be unable to continue.
It was the way he kicked the ball. He just, you know how he is as a player. When you just, you just touch something, you know something is just going wrong. He didn't even need to do much, you know that he had tweaked something. I think he came from the back of his legs and then went a bit down, and he just knew that he was done. So Trippier was going to be out, and James, who's not started any of these games, still don't have a chance to play. And good for England, they have a natural replacement, so they don't need to run around. So maybe it was wise by the coach talking about Gareth Southgate to pack all those defenders. So this is
Rhys James, 21 years of age, probably be coming on for his 8th cap for his country, the Chelsea man. Kieran Trippier might well and truly be unable to continue, but play can continue now as Calvin Phillips finds Aston Villa's Jack Grealish, or so he thought, but pass a little bit too heavy. The number 7 for England unable to control. Too
high and too close to the line, asking for too much for him to control that, so his changed momentum, swung the ball back to the German side. But the two teams are really not giving so much as it stands, not creating too many chances as Australia had created in the first half, not forced the goalkeepers to much saves, as nothing much has been done except playing the balls around the midfield and then even going on to lose possession. That's basically what's been happening. And for those who think that as I said, that we wanted the game to be like what we saw yesterday, it's not turning out like that. We're hoping that it ends one way or the other in this half.
Here's the shot for Raheem Sterling has opened the scoring for England, and it is top goal of the Euros competition. And Raheem Shaquille Sterling is flying high, and so are the English. It is a goal to the good. The English boys are NG.
How heroes are made, except in competitions like this. That's Raheem Sterling, who probably did not end his season with Manchester City the way he would have loved it, but certainly he's been the savior of this team. He scored 3 goals on the bounce. He was not scoring, England's not winning. He's just gotten that goal, and good one for him. He was one as alert, quickly and alert, even as we see Chris Williams. Very happy with his team, but that was that man talking about Raheem Sterling. Even started with him. Sterling was the one who was able to shake up the defenders, including Antonio Rudiger, and gets that ball to Harry Kane. Harry Kane touches it, and quickly Jack Grealish, who sees the run of Sterling and Harry Kane, and Sterling touches it. Sterling is so onside, there's no call of it. Luke Shaw was the one who touches it to Sterling, and Sterling just put it to the back of net. Started with Sterling and ended with Sterling. Sterling touches it to Harry Kane. Harry Kane sees Jack Grealish coming. Jack Grealish takes it to that man Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw just lays it on the carpet, lays it on the rug for the oncoming Raheem Sterling. Sterling turns into the back of the net, and 1-0, and that's what the doctor ordered. A game, and I said that's going to be decided by just small margins. Germany, England not being the biggest of games or not the best of games as it stands, but that doesn't matter. What matters is who puts the ball into the back of the net. What matters in games like this where you get eliminated is the fact that you take your chances. The Germans were caught napping. The Germans were standing and watching as that ball went in. No tackles were made, and that's how we see it.
It's going to be kind of hard to argue against Raheem Sterling this time around. Well, the move started with him and indeed ended with him off the squared ball from Luke Shaw. And it was the Manchester City man on hand to open the scoring for England, who could be in a little bit of trouble now.
Maguire with a yellow card, even as I'm thinking about how much he tripped the oncoming defense as it stands. So, okay, no, that was Joshua Kimmich. Okay, he just touched his hand and changed his momentum, and the ref will cut him. It's one of those sneaky tackles, one of those sneaky things the players do, the refs don't actually see. I'm quite intelligent by the ref. I don't know how he saw it, because the tackle had earlier come in, and that tackle had come in from John Stones, taking that ball away, but still he would have touched the ball. Talking about Joshua Kimmich, but Maguire just touches his hand, changes the momentum, and that's the foul.
Well, Germany with a chance to respond to 13 minutes from the 90. They have a free kick just at the edge of the English area. It is a wall and a half as Calvin Phillips is lying on the turf in case they decide to go short and low. It is Havertz, Muller and Kroos, a swallow to take. And Wall stood firm as the ball is repelled. Now Havertz can collect once again for Germany as the on-racing Raheem Sterling conceals the try.
What a tournament is having. What a tournament is having. Heroes are born for things like this. We have players who see a tournament players. We saw the likes of Koboski, Oliver Bierhoff write their names in history when it comes to tournaments, and that's exactly what we're seeing now. Raheem Sterling is a hero. 3 times a hero. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times lucky is that what we say, but that's Raheem Sterling, a man who was alert as he saw that. But it started with him once again, shaking off Rudiger, and everyone just got snapped. No one actually put in any tackle. No one actually even saw the player outside the box. Luke Shaw sees Raheem Sterling coming, touches it. Beautiful, beautiful. Once again, the hero on the night. Foden coming from the wings, rushing, and Gint and the rest of the team are trying to tell themselves it's not over. And I mean, he has a right to say it's not over. We've seen teams who were 2 goals down in this competition just yesterday go on to score 2 more goals. So they've got every reason to think it's not over.
Quite brilliant. Raheem Sterling is not goaling 4 matches at this Euros competition. Sterling, of course, born in Jamaica to Jamaican parents, moved to London at the age of 5, beginning his career at Queen's Park Rangers before signing for Liverpool in 2010. Manchester City would follow in a £49 million deal, and the rest to say is history. He's won 3 Premier League titles at the Etihad, 1 FA Cup, 4 League Cups, and is in search of his first trophy with England, and is supplying his contribution in quantum for the Three Lions.
It's Germany who have to do the rest of the chasing now, and we can see England are just trying to take it easy right now. They're not going to run around with the Germans. Kieran Trippier, who we thought was going to be out to continue the game. Germans are not going to see a lot of that ball. They can't believe themselves. It's not been a bad German side. It's not been a brilliant England side, but at this stage of this competition, you don't need to be brilliant. All you need to do is when you get a chance to take it, and that's exactly what England have done at this time. Germany, as I said, could console themselves with the fact that they've got about 10 minutes more in this game and they could create something, but right now they're the ones chasing this game.
Well, 10 minutes for Germany to find a response, and it is also 10 minutes for Jogi Löw to extend his stay as German manager. Yes, England are looking to even cause more harm to the Germans. Ball in box to the feet of Harry Kane. Treads it now into goal scorer Raheem Sterling. Sterling stepping on the pace. Goes backward but gets the ball away to Kai Havertz. And now Thomas Muller is on the break. Will it be the equalizer? Yes! Oh no! Just inches wide. And Muller has contrived to miss this glorious chance for Germany, when it was indeed quite easy to get one over Jordan Pickford.
Would that be the chance that cuts that actually harms Germany? But it was Raheem Sterling who gave the ball away. Kai Havertz saw the on-rushing Thomas Muller. Had 3 players on him, but he had the beating of the 3 players. John Stones, Kyle Walker all on him. He even had the beating of Jordan Pickford, but it was too close. Just close, but no cigar, as we say. The bounce of the ball just takes it. That's at the very longest time for Thomas Muller was when the bounce of the ball took it away from the goalkeeper. He didn't force a save from the goalkeeper. That was a chance to be level. That was a chance Thomas Muller has thrown away, and that might have been the end of Germany in this competition.
Well, the look on Jogi Löw's face suggests that he's given up. The elements are certainly against him, as they have been, as you would think, post 2014 when he guided the team to win the World Cup in Brazil. Thomas Muller usually more clinical in front of goal. This time around he drags the short wide of Jordan Pickford's post, and saving the blushes of Raheem Sterling and keeping England in the lead.
Well, at least he's not going to be the villain in the piece talking about Raheem Sterling, because that would have been terrible. You give and you take. That would have been terrible for Raheem Sterling. But Thomas Muller can't believe it. The Germans can't believe it. No one who saw that could believe it. Everyone, Harry Maguire thought it was just done. Pickford was just waiting to pick the ball out of his net, and right now it's been saved, and they have a chance to continue being on top.
Now 8 minutes for Germany to find a response to that miss. Well, they can't really affect much at the moment, as it is England in possession, but offside Raheem Sterling.
It's a more open goal now, and that's what goals do for you. It's a more open goal now. Jonah Henderson is has dressed out down and to come in and block. Even Emre Can is also going to come in, but more open game. Emre Can is going to see if we can put more bodies and just create something. I mean, what else could Joachim Löw do? you're almost out, so you need to put in stuff for Jordan Henderson. Putting more bodies there, make sure the Germans midfielder overrun. Stop the likes of Toni Kroos and Kai Havertz from getting all of those balls and creating those chances. That's what the two players are going to come in to do.
Now, Jordan Henderson stripped and ready to join the foray. He's played for England 60 times. Hasn't scored a goal in the 11 years that he's played for the Three Lions. Well, the Liverpool captain will, of course, be required to use all of his experience to protect England's lead and guide them to a quarter-final berth. Well, they will be taking on either Sweden or Austria on July 3 or 4th.
The Germans still ruling that miss. They still rule that miss, and that was a chance. I don't know if we could get bigger and better opportunities than that. Ruling that miss, 1-1, and take it like most of the teams are taking it in this competition. Italy was stressed all the way by Austria. Czech Republic, of course, we saw how they sent Netherlands away, and even before that, yesterday we saw Croatia made hard work of it. Switzerland also made sure, not just making hard work of it, they sent the French away. So that was Germany, at least a chance to make something out of this, but they scoffed it.
England with the ball, Harry Kane twisting and turning, creating space. Not particularly in a hurry to launch the attack down the right-hand side. Finally picks out Raheem Sterling, who would take the conservative approach, taking the ball back to Trippier, who will get the ball back as England seem to be playing to protect what they have.
That's a sensible thing to do, and they're also going to get more chances to score, because what's happening is that the Germans will be putting bodies up front, and that means that Germany will be shot in some places, and they will have a chance. England will have a chance to create even more.
Now Declan Rice is falling on the wrong part of the pitch. He's off. Out of touch as Jack Grealish can attack once again. Harry Kane! And finally, Harry Kane opens his account in Euro 2020. And the English captain with a stupid header has, further dampened the mood in the German camp by asserting England further ahead and 2 goals up. And fantastic Jack Grealish, the game changer.
Just what I said, Germans are going to put bodies forward, and England will be able to capitalize on that, because there will be too many bodies forward and they will not have the pace to run back and stop that ball, stop the England players when they're creating and coming up front, and that's exactly what happened. And that's talking about Jack Grealish, what he wants him to do. You want Jack Grealish to feed Harry Kane. The rest of those players are not going to put all those passes for Harry Kane. The ball was given away by the man who just came in, talking about Segnabry. But 4 players who had Luke Shaw getting that man, talking about Jack Grealish, and they put the ball for Harry Kane. It almost looked like Harry Kane had lost that ball. Interesting header from Harry Kane, because that ball looked like it was meant for his legs, but he knew that he couldn't get it with his legs, and he had to stoop so low with his head, and one way or another get that ball in, and it's 2-0. We used to have something they used to sing then in, I think it was Middlesbrough, when he was talking about Yakubu Egbeni. He was feed the yak and he will score. This time around, give him that ball, talking about Harry Kane. Just give that ball to him and see if he won't get it out of. And that's what he does. His teammates are also very glad for him. He will get a goal, but he won't get a goal if he's not given a chance to score.
Oh, well. From they say is temporal, class is permanent. And that was class. But I'll be having a word with him if I was Gareth Southgate. That celebration might have him pull a hamstring, to say.
He ain't pulling no hammy. He's not going to pull hammy. But you can see Thomas Müller very, very upset with himself. He just cost it. Put that ball into the back of net. That's 1-1. Take your chances. You won't take your chances. It's a bipartisan crowd. As it stands, it's not bipartisan, it's a partisan crowd. You're playing in England, you're playing in Wembley. You've got the Prince right in there, talking about Prince William, and all the celebrities and all the biggest of the English players and English fans right there. And you know that you're not going to get so many chances. Take the chances you have, and then you score. Thomas Müller will be feeling very bad. He did not take his chance.
Well. Have the English come of age? Well, they have just a couple of minutes to hold on and move into the quarterfinals. And Gareth Southgate's good job with the Three Lions continues. Did, of course, get to the semis of the World Cup 3 years ago in Russia. And this is his chance to bury the ghost of 1996. He isn't playing, but he will now be the manager who gets one over Germany, something the English haven't quite enjoyed a lot in this historic rivalry.
Football gives you these chances once in a while to make amends, and that's him. We'll be very grateful for this chance to make amends. Talking about Gareth Southgate, I said it was not in his hands. He has to leave himself in the hands of some young players who the best he can do is to tell them how to pass the ball and hope that they will be able to obey his instructions. But brilliant by that man, Jack Grealish. You can understand why those who have been calling for his inclusion were asking for it. Just lays that ball neat for Harry Kane to touch into the back of the net. But not so neat, but that's the man, talking about Harry Kane, the striker in him. That ball, he couldn't have gotten it off with his legs, and he had to use his head in an unorthodox fashion.
Well, certainly Harry Kane has got going. And surely looks now like England will be the team to progress. Well, football, a lot can change very quickly. And there isn't a lot of time left. 88 minutes, make that 89. Tony Cruz, long hop football into the box, headed away by Luke Shaw.
England are going to be smarter than we saw from France and Spain yesterday. England are going to be very much smarter. They are actually going to make sure they lock up the front of their... They close everything. There are 11 men behind in the England defense right now, and they are all on top of that ball, and that's exactly what England need to do. They are not going to make the same mistake that Spain made yesterday, or more importantly France, where they were ahead and they lost their heads and they went on to equalize.
Yeah, there was a strike, the half volley by Leon Goretzka. Yes, just as the Germany trying to fashion out chances to perhaps at least have the deficit. Oh dear, it's England look to be surging into the quarterfinals, and the Germans, might not believe it. But it is indeed happening.
It was, I've seen pictures of that again. It's beautiful in everything about that. And that ball dropped in by that Jack Grealish, and then Harry Kane. Give him a chance. If you want Harry Kane to score, give him the players who can create for him to score. You don't want a top striker running around the pitch and looking for feed himself off the ball. Give him and a score, and that's exactly what he's done. I talked about in the first half where you could see that he was still sharp. He was still able to create danger in the heart of the defense. Just get him get the right ball, and he will do that.
That's a partnership we might be seeing a bit more often if Manchester City's hopes are to come to pass. They do, of course, want to sign Jack Grealish and Harry Kane at the transfer window this summer. Ball into the box, Germany. They call it the last hopes of the dying man. And it was the outstretched foot of Karl Havertz nearly getting to it.
Germany's not going to get any goal in this game. You have to learn. You learn from other people's mistakes. You know where to make the kind of mistakes. And you saw Jonah Henderson being brought in just for things like this to make sure they protect the lead. Germany are not going to score any goal here. England are going to protect this lead. England are going to run down the clock at every point they have, and every chance they have. England are going to win this game.
Well, it is the 90 minutes up, and we're into the 4 minutes of added time as we see Jamal Musiala coming on for Germany. Musiala, of course, has Nigerian roots. The little girl who has come into the age where she would know one or two things about football, shedding tears.
I was thinking she does understand that it's a loss, and I realize that she will. I've got children of that age who probably will understand that it's a loss. The team are about to go off. I think the Germans were not bad. By and large, it wasn't a poor German performance. Not the most brilliant, but we know Germans are an efficient team. They're more into efficient stuff as opposed to giving a lot of flowery kind of entertainment. So it's not been bad, but to the victor belongs the spoils, as I love to say. And England, not that they've been wonderful themselves, but I don't care about winning English. I don't care about all of that. That's conversation, and that's very irrelevant. What's more important is the fact that we're currently ahead, and we're about to get into the quarterfinals, and we're well worth getting into this quarterfinals.
Well, England are defending with all their lives. Pickford will pick it all up and down on the turf to take as much seconds as he can off the clock as the English crowd are roaring. And we could see Ed Sheeran, David Beckham, and the many anonymous faces with the white and red flag of England, and waiting to erupt in joy at the sound of the final whistle. which is barely a minute and 30 seconds away, if the minimum of 4 minutes is anything to go by. But Germany now have a free kick won by Kai Havertz. Daniel McKaylee pointing to the spot where the incident took place as Tony Cruz, who looks particularly and understandably in a hurry, straddles over to launch one into the English box.
It was too late. Too late. Not going to work. There was no pressure, and the more time it takes to take the free kick, it means the more time that has been taken away. 3 minutes, 22 seconds gone, and there's no way the England defense and the England midfield are going to let anything drop in this game. 2-0 up. A red side. The first time they scored 2 goals in this championship, but they are the only team as it stands yet to concede a goal.
30 more seconds.
Make that 20.
Make that 20. Back to Neuer, to no man's land.
Super keeper.
Headed away by Harry Maguire. 10 seconds to go. 9 seconds. 2 seconds. England are on the brink of quarter-final berth. Germany on the brink of elimination. Game, set and match. And the ghost of 96 is buried by Gareth Southgate. He embraces his opposite number, Joachim Löw, whose last game as Germany coach has come to end and ends in defeat at the hands of the English. And it's goals from Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane, the captain, to thank for the English progression. And well and truly, these boys have come of age.
Interesting, it's a group of dead who have all their 3 teams who qualified out of it. It's England and Harry Kane and Gareth Southgate killing some of those goals. I think Harry Kane breaking his back, Gareth Southgate breaking the hearts of Germans is just what the doctors ordered for the England national team.
Well, it's the 29th of June 2021, a day that Gareth Southgate will never ever forget, as he will well and truly now, as not as a matter of pretense, perhaps put behind him the incident against this same country, Germany, all the way back in 96, where he lost the sports kick. Well, a fresh history is written, fresh memories created, and it will be memories of disappointment and despair for the Germans, and memories of sheer delight for the likes of Raheem Sterling, Harry Kane, Pickford, and the rest of the English boys, whose belief that they could now go all the way to clinch the Euro 2020 in 2021, whose final, of course, will be happening at this same turf in Wembley when it's all over and done with. They will now see it as not a distinct possibility, but a possibility that could be well and truly on its way. It's full time, England 2, Germany 0.
The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria